Peter Rugg Gunn is a new group leader at the Babraham Institute. His passion? Stem cells and epigenetics.
Well, stem cells, I think, are really remarkable cell types because they exist in a fairly primitive, unspecialized form, but then you can give them various cues that will then specialize them into particular cell types, whether it be brain or heart or muscle. You can actually also do the reverse process now. So you can take a heart cell, for instance, and you can reprogram it, as scientists call it, back into a stem cell. And we know that epigenetics has a really key role in both the specialization and the reprogramming processes. For instance, in reprogramming, we know that if we add particular chemicals that can erase epigenetic information, then the reprogramming process occurs quicker, it happens more efficiently, and it produces better quality stem cells at the end of it. So clearly epigenetics is very important.
Being a scientist is not only about working with pipettes in the lab. According to Peter, there are three main parts to a scientist's day.
So the first part is always designing the experiment. We do that by doing a lot of reading, finding out what we know, what we don't know, and then thinking really hard about what are the important questions that we want to answer. The second part of my day is really doing the experiments in the laboratory, and we have a fairly standard toolbox of techniques that we can adjust or modify to suit the particular experiments that we want to do. And the third part of the day is then going over the results, interpreting them, seeing what they mean, how they fit into the bigger picture. And you really get a lot of satisfaction actually from designing and carrying out a good experiment. And of course, every now and again we discover something new and exciting, and that's really good. A nice new part of my job right now is to slowly build up a new team of scientists. This has proved to be a really fun, although challenging part of my job. So right now I've got a technician upstairs working on some experiments, and then I'm also getting some PhD students later this year, and that'll be also really fun to build up this team and to work together as a unit. And I think it's a really important part of my job to sort of train the next generation of scientists.
New insights from stem cell research and epigenetics has the power to revolutionize healthcare.
I think that's a really important thing for scientists to become engaged in policy issues. So I had some experience of that when I was working in Canada, where I worked with a number of legal scholars and social scholars, where we looked at stem cell policies around the world. So we raised a number of issues where perhaps stem cell research could be regulated differently, to be perhaps fairer to scientists and also to the public. I worked with a fantastic artist called Marilyn Oliver, and we had a lot of fun working together, finding a common language, and also trying to understand some of the similarities that are actually prevalent between artists and scientists. Maybe a lot of things that you wouldn't normally realize, things like creativity and that sort of personal aspect of doing our work. And then in the end, Marilyn produced a series of fantastic pieces which are now on in an exhibition in New York. The thing that I love about my job is the freedom that we have to pursue what we find is interesting and important.